Good Monday morning. Here is Kramer's Corner with the daily technical update. It is Monday the 13th of November. And interesting move on the US market Friday. We saw the S&P 500 that closed above the 4,400 level, and it also closed this gap here. So now we can basically remove that. Also closed above the cloud, and we have the RSI closing above 60. So we are in a bullish mood on all fronts, and there is room up to around 4,540, where there's some resistance. We're also above this falling trend line here. So going into the rest of the year looks fairly positive for the US markets. The Nasdaq has been looking good for the past week or so, and very close to 15,561 resistance, not the strongest one. And I think we will see Nasdaq testing the July peak here, just below 16,000 going into December. On the European markets, we have the EUROSTOXX 50 that was rejected at first take at the 42.35 resistance, but I think it seems like we will have another go also after we have the RSI closing above 60 threshold. So we are also in a positive sentiment. And a break above that, well, then there's still some overhead resistance here at the 200 moving and also 100 moving average coming down, but we are in an uptrend, and it is confirmed with higher highs and higher lows. The DAX index closed above 15,280 Thursday last week. Couldn't really follow through, was rejected here at the 55 moving average. What is interesting, we are still below the 60 RSI, so we are still in a negative sentiment, but it has confirmed the uptrend here. So we just need to for DAX to follow through towards 15,575. The AX dancing around the 750 key resistance. You can see here Thursday it was it just touched it just barely within a few cents, but this morning we are above, but let's see where we'll be here the next couple of days. The RSI also above 60, so we should move higher towards 760, 65, but there could be more upside potential really for AX. The Belgian market is a little bit lacking, to be honest. We still have the RSI well below 60, so it's a little bit heavy still, and could be caught range bound between the 3,500 and the 3,400 here for the next week or so. CAC 40 trying also to gain some upside momentum. It seems like it's really struggling at this 55 moving average here, and we also still have the RSI below 60. But I think we will move higher here in the next couple of days. If it takes out the peak from Thursday at 71.23, well, then there's room up to 7,200 where there's some strong resistance. Finally, on the SMI. It still needs to close this gap for real. I mean, it did spike above, but it couldn't really follow through. So 10,675 is the key to close above for further upside momentum. So the Swiss market is really lacking the other European markets. On the euro dollar, seems like it's starting to get retracing a little bit after being sold off here, and I think I said it before, I think we will see it being stuck between 107.65 and 106.35, basically between the 55 and the 100 and 200 moving averages here for quite some time. There is positive sentiment on the RSI, but and we are also technically in an uptrend. You can see higher highs, higher lows, higher high, and a higher low. But it really needs to break above and close above 107.65, and still there's some overhead resistance that could spell into that. Cable more or less the same picture, also a positive sentiment on our side, but we are below the cloud, we are below the 55 moving average. Seems like they're trying to buy into it here this morning, but it will be a struggle to get past 124.45. The dollar yen, on the other hand, very close to be testing the 152 previous peak from 2022. Let's zoom out a little bit, and that can gain further upside momentum towards 154, 155. And it seems like it, but again, it will be a little bit of a struggle to really take it out. On the other hand, Euro-Yen is still carry on, actually breaking this upper rising trend line that is basically just a parallel shifted line from the lower rising trend line. So it's really, really strong at the moment. But there's no room. Oh, sorry, there's room up to 170s where there is a little bit of resistance. Whether we'll get there, it's debatable. But it seems like we are moving higher. What we can do, we can take a Fibonacci here just very quickly. I'll show you to you where we can give us an idea how far we can move. We can see we already surpassed the 138.2. We're probably going to 161.8 projection of this last correction here, just above 163, but we could shoot up to 165-ish level. Aussie yen, it's like an ongoing saga, really. Being rejected at the 97.67, just below there, bouncing this morning just above 96 and this support area here, testing again 96.85, and I think we will actually see it taking out if it moves back above here, which I believe will have bullish RSI, positive RSI, getting back above 60. I think we'll take it out, and I think we will see the 2022 peak around 98.5 being tested within a couple of weeks. The Aussie dollar, we talked about it last week that it probably would be bouncing from the falling trend line here, and it seems like it is doing that at the moment. And I think we will see in a week or so it testing the resistance here at 65, 20, 25 and the 100 moving average. So that's what I would expect. If it does close below the falling trend line here, well then it could collapse further towards 62. The dollar index, a little bit strange after it actually closed below the key support at 105.34. It couldn't really follow through all the way down to 104.39, but there's some strong support, and now we are back above that level, 105.34, struggling a little bit for upside momentum. I think we will see it hovering around 105.34. If it does break below again, I will feel quite confident that it actually drops all the way to 104.34. Gold has retraced 38.2, as you can see here, just basically spot on 1933 support. It can dip a little bit lower, but I think the correction is over, and I think we will slowly start moving higher on gold. We still have a positive RSI, and there's also support here at the 200 moving average, the 155 coming up there. The silver is hovering around the 22.15 support level, close below, well then, and a close below RSI 40, then a move back towards 21 and lower is in the cards. Copper, dancing around this falling trend line here. It could test the key support at 354.50, and if you are newcomers to my little video here, well, you can see why it is such a key level here at 354.50. I think it could be interesting, just we haven't looked at for a very long time, looking at Palladium. It's sold off really heavily, and our commodities analyst expert here, Ole Hansen, he has been talking about the spread between Palladium and gold, and also platinum for that matter, for quite some time, and it's really weak here on Palladium, and I don't see any support until around 850, 55 supported. Then we are back to the 2008 level. On the energy side, we have the The WTI, light sweet crude oil, it formed this bottom and reversal like pattern here at the 61.8 retracement, projection of this shoulder head shoulder like pattern. It's not the textbook perfect one, because the shoulders should be almost equal height, and there should only be one head. So this is what I call a little bit of a Quasimodo shoulder head shoulder, but nevertheless it reached 61.8 of the head to neckline, and bouncing from there. If it can get back above the 200 moving average, then there could be further upside potential, short term at least, but there's some resistance overhead. Almost the same picture on Brent, of course, and I think we'll see a move up towards the neckline like trend line here towards the 85 level. Finally, on the US 10-year Treasury yields, it did close below the falling trend line, but now back above and has retraced 38.2 to 467. I think we will see a move up to around 480 here in the next couple of days. There is divergence on the RSI, but the RSI is still positive. And I think we should just quickly look at the future, the US 10-year future, because that's actually quite interesting. It was rejected at 108.25 resistance and the upper falling trend line here, and it never closed above 108.16 resistance, also testing a couple of times but never closed above, and now it's sliding lower. And also if we see the RSI, if RSI is breaking below its lower rising trend line here, well, 106.20 which is the 61.8 retracement of this uptrend here, it should be the first stronger support, but I think it could move lower towards 106. All right, that's a long one today, a lot of stuff to talk about, but thank you very much for listening. Happy trading, and talk to you again tomorrow.